Hi everyone, are you doing IRONMAN Cork this year? If so, this is the video for you because I am going to give away some killer race tips and hints and talk about exact sections of the course that you need to know about. And not only that, I'm going to give you details of a webinar you can join. And if you're we'll give a little bit of a giveaway at the end that will give you that even last bit of race day edge. Okay, so let's get to it. As I said, course recap. And if you're watching my other previous video, add in more details to this one and new tips and webinar detail and that cool giveaway at the end. Okay, but who am I? I am Coach Steve Moody, who is an Ironman U certified coach. I've been coaching for 20 plus years. I have a number of athletes who have done Cork, both 70.3 and the full. I've had world champion qualifiers. I've had people doing their first Ironman. First 70.3. I run training camps down the course. I know it backwards. And I'm going to help you get really familiar with it. Okay, so the race preview. This is where your day will start on the 20th of August. As you can see, this is where the swim corrals are all gathering, and giveaways are the large number of athletes, nervous looking, some happy looking in wetsuits, and also we have the numbers of the corrals here. And while I could not get a picture of like the actual Irish dancers that were on stage at the start of this race, I've had to improvise. And look, I want to really emphasize this is an incredible event. IRONMAN Cork put on such a good event. As I said, I have raced 12 plus Ironman in my life. I've never seen Irish dancers and such a razzmatazz at the start of the event. It gives you absolute goosebumps. Cork have put on an absolute whopper of a show 2 years previous. One was raining all day long and everyone came out and supported. Second day, it was scorching and everyone came out and supported. Cork are putting this whole island on the map, which is not easy from someone to Dublin to admit. But I'll raise my hand. I'll give credit where credit's due. Okay, so this is, as I said, where you will start your swim, and this is the start of your day. We're going to work all the way through it, and I'm going to show you where your day will end up when you hear those famous words. Also, just a quick pro tip as I go. I'll drop in these power tips as I go along. You have to walk from transition when you do last checks of your bike and your last checks of your transition bags up to the swim start. So it's roughly a K away. So you're walking on the pavement, but you're walking on concrete. I always bring a spare pair of flip-flops, or I borrow some of those hotel slippers. So I wander up so my feet are protected and I don't stub my toe or stand on something sharp in the way. I recommend you do the same. We've got to protect those tootsies because you're going to be battering them for the rest of the day. Another thing, spotted this guy here. This guy's in it for the win. He's got one of these neck guards, which I highly recommend if you're new to this because it protects your neck from chafing. It's one of the best pieces of equipment you'll ever buy if you haven't got one. I'll put another video in the comments below that will actually show you why, and also a link in case you want to buy it. Okay, that is where the day will start. But how's it going to pan out for you in the swim? Okay, so this is your IRONMAN Cork swim course. As you can see, there's roughly around 1,200 meters worth of swimming. This is against the tide a little bit, and then you turn, and then you get the majority of it back, and you swung back in. So it's actually a nice, fast swim for you, even for the kind of the weaker swimmers, because you do get a lot of current assistance. There's some things to note about the swim. Okay, that the Ironman, if you've never done one of these races before, it's a seeded swim start. So what does that mean? It means that you will go into a corral based on your actual swim time, expected swim time. So if you are planning on swimming under an hour for the 3.8K swim, fair play if you can, you will put yourself, there will be a corral that says sub 1 hour swimmers. And then, but if you're more of a 1 hour 20, 1 hour 30, and you'll know this based on your kind of open water swim average paces and any sort of races you've done before, you'll know, put yourself in the right corral. Because there's no point in putting yourself in with the was it 1 hour swimmers because you think you're going to finish early. You're not. You'll only get swam over by stronger swimmers because you're in their way. and you'll lose the ability to draft off someone who's of a similar level to you. Drafting is when you actually swim close to the other swimmer and they kind of break the water tension beforehand, and it's easier to swim in their flip stream. It's a really good way of saving energy, and Ironman racing is all about saving energy. Wherever you can save it, you can use it for later on. You will, as I said, you'll be in those corrals, you'll be waved in. Ironman do no longer do mass swim starts. So what they'll do is they'll put you in groups of 3 to 5. I'm not too sure what they'll do in the day. But essentially you'll line up, you'll all be in lines, and then you come in and the volunteers will have their hands up, say, right, there you go, hold. Every 3 seconds, a beep will go. They will put their hands up, and then you're off. It's go time. So what I would advise there is when you have time to go, do not sprint in and belt in, because it's a little bit rocky in the way in, and you can actually bang your feet. Remember, we want to save the feet, and you don't want to kind of do any silly damages. Wade in, get to waist height, and then dive in, and then you're going. You're not gonna save a huge amount of time by sprinting in. You could make a bit of a mess of it. So take your time, get in. As I said, against that's actually the first 1,200 meters. This is a typo from the 70.3 presentation. But then, as I said, you go up here for 1,200 meters. The boys will be all marked out. There's going to be these big yellow and red boys. Yellow for just to keep you on track, and then red for turning. That's what they've used in the past. But if you're a nervous swimmer, my key piece of advice is to go wide at these boys. Yes, the fastest point from A to B is going close to the boys, and you save a couple of seconds off. But if you go tight there, that's where it gets very congested and crowded, and you can get into a little bit of kind of physical contact. People may bump into you. People might pull your leg. If you're really nervous, you don't want that experience. So go wide at the boys. It will take a little bit of extra time. You'll probably add on a few extra meters at the end of the swim, but it'll be for a much easier, pleasant experience. Go wide at the boys. Easy swim in. As I said, the rest of the 2K plus swim is current assisted. Enjoy. Stretch out your swim stroke and try to get more of a glide, because you're being pushed rather than having to fight against the current. Sight as much as possible. Sighting, if you don't know what that means, is where we actually lift our head slightly out of the water and try to fix on a stationary object which keep us swimming in a straight direction, a straight line. So if you have a lighthouse, for example, as in you could aim for the lighthouse if you know that was in the type of direction you need to go. And then it just means you stop zigzagging and wasting time. Okay, so quick recap, and I'm going to go through some sighting points. 1,200 meters, that's your toughest day at the office, hence red. Just did it for a little bit of drama. You'll turn there, a little bit of push against the current, not going to be a big deal. Then we start using our glide and sort of use the current to our advantage. By the way, I couldn't get a proper arrow to go around, so I'm not suggesting that you arc around. I go straight, turn, and then straight into the inlet where you'll come out. I'm going to talk about the sighting points. On the way up, you're swimming parallel to the beach, so you know what? If you're keeping that equidistant, you're doing all right. If you're going too far to it, you're drifting. But there's also kind of brightly colored houses at the start over here, which you can use as sighting points. The second sighting point and the second star there is your turning buoy. That's again one of the big red yolks. You can't miss it. Then when you're heading back down, aim for one of the trees on the top of this island here, the outlet. And then when you come around, your final sighting point will be transition itself, because there's right beside these big yellow apartments and buildings, and you can't miss it. Just aim for that. There'll be little kind of guidance buoys as well that will keep you in that sort of channel, because if you go too far to the lighthouse area, there are rocks and all the rest, and you don't want to get involved with that. You will come to there is a stone ramp that you will be run out. Another tip is, if you're coming in, do not jump up. I know you'd be delighted to get out of the water, but remember, you've been swimming in horizontal, and all the blood flow has been that way, and then you jump like that. So what do you think's going to happen? Yep, you're going to get dizzy and you'll see people faint. So take your time, get up. You have a long day ahead of yourself. The volunteers will help you. You will run up that the concrete ramp, turn around, and into the transition tent. and then you actually we'll start talking about transition. Just one quick thing: if you're in Cork or Youghal beforehand, you cannot swim in here, right? This is an open, active, working waterway. There's small motorized craft going on. There's fishing vessels, etc. You cannot test the full course, okay? But what you can do is swim with the lifeguard assisted areas here, and that's going to be the hardest part of your day. Might as well check that out. Okay, you've done the swim. You're feeling like a champ, and you are. You've got the swim on the probably the part that most people are nervous of. You have nailed it. Next up, transition. Now, you'll start hearing all sorts of things about transition bags and was it blue bags, red bags, white bags, and everyone get a little bit nervous on that. The reason is Ironman has a very specific transition system and flow. It involves just everything in transition bags, and it kind of keeps everything nice and neat and tidy. I'm not going to go into this in too much detail. I have, if you want to see how the bags work, what goes in the bags, what I recommend the bags, etc., personal needs bags, there's a link to the video below. Check it out. It is worthwhile. Okay, just while we're at it, guys, I'm hoping that this is useful. You're feeling already cool for the swim. If you do, please hit that like button, because that really helps my channel and means that I can be around next year and help you guys, whatever other race you're doing. And also, please subscribe, because it helps me grow my channel, and that's something I really want to do here. Yes, my primary objective is to help you guys have an absolute smashing race, and I'm giving you all the info you need. You are going to be so well prepared. But I'm also trying to grow my channel. So hit the subscribe button, and if you do, it also links you to the giveaway at the end. Okay, so we've transitioned. We've picked up our, we've got our wetsuit off. We've got our helmet on. We've picked up our bike, and we're off, up and running. And my slide isn't running. Okay, so it was an Ironman Cork bike course. Now, this is one of the more scenic bike course on the circuit. You'll hear horror stories that it's, was it the road surfaces are awful? It's really hit. It's not as bad as everyone makes out. It's actually a really good bike course. So what I'm going to go this time, I'm going to talk about the 8 stations that you will be at, because unless you nail down your nutrition in an Ironman race, you are going to have a very long day or DNF. So use your 8 stations to your advantage. Find out what's in them, build it into your race day strategy. And I'm going to talk a bit about certain parts of the course, and I'm going to talk about where the climbs are. Okay. So we started off, we are cycling down away from Youghal. We are coming down this, and the first 10 kilometers, it's really nice road. It's no hills of note. It's actually quite a good start to the day. Some kind of technical turns here, but nothing to write home about. There is one of the first climbs is around 17k in. It's a short, sharp little fella, but again, nothing that it will actually take too much of time to navigate. Our first aid station's at 22k in, so we will fuel up there if you can. Always never miss an aid station, especially in an Ironman race. The key piece of bit of advice for you. I'm gonna drop myself down here, and off we go. Now, and this is the benefit of me doing a couple of videos. In previous videos, I've said from 35 to 40 is the worst part of the course, and it is pretty shit. But recent feedback from guys who've been down there, Cork County Council have already started work on this. So it's still the roughest part of the course, and the man did admit that, but he said it's better than it was. They're filling in potholes, and they're trying to do as much running repair as they can. As I said, Cork do throw so much effort at that. Hats off to the lads who really do support this race. But get through that. Hold on to your teeth. Hold on to your fillings. Hold on to your bottles. You may lose a couple. But then you're rewarded by the nicest part of the course, in my opinion. It is the between 40 and 50k along this stretch here before you hit Middleton. It is flat. It is beside the water. It is smooth. It is TT City all day long. Get on those aero bars, enjoy it, stretch out your back. It is good times. And then you'll come up to the next aid station when you pass through Middleton. A little bit of rumble strips, and you're going through a town, so there's expected a bit of traffic. It isn't closed roads, but there's always some sort of marshalling stuff going on. Listen to the marshals. There's rumble strips and come out. There is the second aid station there at 52k, and again at the second time round of asking, that would be at 142k. Should write all this stuff down, or if someone gave you a race day strategy with all this stuff on it, that'd be dead useful. That's foreshadowing for the free gift. Yeah, let's roll with it. Now, one of the harder parts of the course is coming up, and when you're leaving Middleton, there is an 8K stretch, which is kind of like coming out of Middleton, which is between 3 to 4% gradient. The road surface is good, but it's just long and long. So it's not something you have to drop it into really low gears to get up. It's just be used to getting into that sweet spot rhythm and just climbing the hill and be ready for it. Okay. The rest of the course, then it's again straight, decent roads, some kind of a little bit iffy, but not as bad as the press would have you believe. Our next aid station then is coming up at 75K here. There is a sharp bend at 73, by the way. Just be careful there. Our next aid station is at 75, and then the last 15K is fairly rolly. So it's very hard to get into any sort of rhythm. You're sort of up and down off the bars and all the rest. There's no major hills in terms of gradient. Those are coming. But there's a couple of old kind of Irish style roads where there's a little bit of grass in the middle. So you have to be aware of the road. You have to be on it. Like, and be aware if people are trying to overtake, just keep your eye out. Keep switched on in this course. This is not a course where you can drift off. And then, of course, we roll back into y'all, and there's the pink elephant in the room. Everyone's thought about it, everyone's talked about it, but I'm going to talk a little about it in the next slide about what I advise you to do, but you will need a strategy. So climbs, let's have a recap again, going through. Okay, we have our climb at 17K, and again, that will repeat at 107K because it's plus 90. And then we have our long drag from Middleton. I'm going to do that twice. There's the last 15K, there's rolling hills. And then we have our favorite windmill hill. So, right. Here we go in terms of our, aid stations, 22 and 112. Aid stations, 52, 142. 75, 165. And then there's our climbs out of Middleton, our rolly little piece at on the way home. And again, I found that, by the way, the last 15K, I found that was about the part where my legs were really destroyed. I'd gone hard on the first lap, but then you sort of go, oh God. And you know all the little rollers, and you know Wimble Hill is coming in the distance. But Wimble Hill, what an epic piece of equipment. This is what it's all about. By the way, if you are anywhere in y'all on the 19th or the 20th, you got to be here. You guys will be previously occupied in terms of the on the 20th on your bicycles, but go out, support your friends on the 19th. It's a really cool atmosphere having it the Sunday 70.3, Saturday 70.3, and the Sunday full. Everyone kind of supports each other. The 70.3ers do have the benefit that they're all hungover and stuff, and you guys are trying to stay off your feet, but it's a brilliant dynamic. This is Windmill Hill. So pro tip and power tip straight off is, remember, when you are coming into Windmill Hill, it doesn't give you anything. Like, it's not as if you can have a run at this at like get up to like 35, 40K an hour and get halfway up before you even have to start engaging your pedals. You come at this from a right hand in a little lane, so you're weaving into y'all, so you've lost any momentum, and you're coming up, and you will hear it, guys, before you actually see it. The noise is deafening because everyone's cheering the guys on the course and they're cheering the guys coming to the course. It's brilliant. So you will come at it and you'll have to swoop around. You will be coming in that laneway. Power tip: ditch any spare water you can at that stage. That's just extra weight. Just drink it. Squash the water bottles away. You cannot chuck the water bottles there. Again, another tip: the only place where you can throw litter is in the assigned litter zones at those aid stations on the bike or at an aid station on a run. So don't get done by that. All I'm saying is squirt the water out if you can. Just ditch it. It's extra weight. And then off you go. And you'll need a strategy for this. It's not something you make up on the day. If you are a weak climber, if you're not great at climbing, accept you're going to walk up this, but people will still cheer you, and it's still an epic achievement. What you don't want to do is get caught in two minds. As in, I'm gonna go for it halfway up, realize that you cannot weave, because look at that crowd, look at this crowd, look how close they are, look at the cyclists. There's no option to like weave up like you would do in your kind of your normal hill work at home if it's hard. You're either on it or you're not doing it. You don't want to go halfway up and then suddenly go teeter off, fall off and bang your knee. That's a bruised knee for another loop of a 90k and then a marathon. Disaster. What you need to do is make a decision early. Either unclip and walk up with your bike or power up it and get used to it, because it gradually builds to it bites in the last 100 meters where it gets to 22% gradient. You are out of the saddle. You are grinding those pedals. You are gritting your teeth, but you are being fueled by that crowd. And they are all roaring your name. They will go up. If you've got your club colors on, that roaring your, they will push you up the hill. But again, have that decision, have that strategy in head for lap 1 and lap 2. What I've recommended my athletes do, if they're strong climbers, have at it the first one. And if you're anyway tired in the legs, walk up it on the second one. You've got a marathon to get ready. You do not want to actually sort of like really fry your legs. But if you're strong, you can do it. And the crowd does give you an absolute lift. Because as I said, it is an absolute party on this. Even when it was lashing rain in the first instance of IRONMAN Cork, there were thousands of people on this hill. It will be the same for your race day. And then they will shoot you up that thing like a rocket. So that is Windmill Hill. You get the top of it, you swing left and you come back down onto your second loop, or then you wheel back into transition and knocked off the 180k. So you've got the swim done. You've got the bike done. You have conquered Windmill Hill twice. You are on fire. You've got a marathon ahead of yourself. Hey, what's that? Okay, so the run course is 4 loops. It's flat. It's very flat. It's great in that sense. So you don't have any hills to contend with. You need to also approach it not as a marathon. I know it is a marathon. 1 second. I tell my athletes to break it into 4 10k blocks. All right, it makes it a little bit more bite size. Because the first one, you're gonna, as I said, you're gonna be still not high from your last Windmill Hill, and you might go off too hard, and like that's a disaster in an Ironman run. You've got to pace yourself. So conserve energy, hold back. It might feel, oh wow, I could go much faster. That's a good feeling. Well, you don't want to be feeling like I'm on it. Save that for the second and third lap when you actually really start pushing yourself into your race pace. When you're hitting what you're hitting in your long runs, what you're hitting in your bricks off your long bikes, get that really nice feeling where you're actually just comfortably uncomfortable. You've got to fuel all day long. The 4th lap, that's where it's going to really hurt. But you've got to suck this up. You've got to go. You want that finish line. You want that medal. You sort of have worked way too hard for this, and it's just 10k at that stage. It is only 10k. Use your dedications, your mantras, your visualization, all the other stuff I talked about in the mental prep. Dig in. You are going to get there. You've conquered most of one of the better courses on the Ironman Europe circuit. Just get there. Fueling is key. You do not miss an aid station. If it's to take on board a bit of liquid, if it's hot day, get cold water on yourself. Get on some fuel. If the last couple of laps, start lashing in that Coke. It's pure sugar. It'll fuel you. It'll give you a kick up the arse, and off you go. Aid stations are roughly around every kind of 2.5 kilometers. The way they've been positioned out, you will see them. Avail of them. It is massively important. So this is what you're coming up to, guys. This is your Ironman finish line. You will have, as I said, 3.8k in the bag, 180k in the bike, a marathon ticked off. These are things that most people have never done in isolation. You've done all 3 of them. You are going to this. This is the crowd. This is the place to be after Windmill Hill, and everyone starts coming down here, and they will cheer in the finishers. They'll cheer in the Heroes Hour. Heroes Hour is for the last person who crosses the finish line. Everyone's there. It's a party atmosphere. It does help that there's a couple of pubs here and a couple of pubs there. But hey, listen, they've had a long day too. Supporters need love too. This is what it's all about. This is Alistair Brownlee winning it when it was lashing rain. This is Chris Minturn winning it on his home turf. Absolutely. This is going to be you winning it for yourself. This is going to be your Ironman Cork. This is going to be your day. You have worked very hard for it. You are so ready. Time to shine. All right, but you're a little bit nervous. I'd be mad not to. And there was a little bit more that I can help you with. So you want a little edge? Of course you do. Okay. So, but I'm going to explain myself a little bit. As I said, people going, why are you doing this? As I kind of adopted the unofficial coach of the IRONMAN Cork and the IRONMAN Cork 70.3 Facebook pages. Well, they didn't invite me, but I arrived. Primarily, I love Cork as a race. I've seen other really cool Ironman races being taken off the calendar. I don't want that to happen in Cork. I want Cork to be around for a long, long time. So if you guys have a great race experience, you will come back. You will tell your friends, they will come back. I want people to come back next year. And also then maybe they can do my training camps, etc., etc. It'd be fine. Maybe even use one of my training plans. But anyhow, here and there. This is but my secondary objective, aside from being just a really good guy who wants to actually help people across, is actually I'm trying to grow my YouTube channel. And I got like 700 people viewed my original Ironman video for the full, which is in links if you want to see it. A bit more detail on packing and tapering, etc. But only like 20% were subscribers. And oh, that made me sad. But if we want to make me happy and have me around for ages, all you need to do is hit that subscribe button, right? If you smash that subscribe button, it means you can watch all of my other content. You get notified when I put other stuff, and I'm putting up other videos about tapering, packing, last minute, la la la, and that will make everyone happy. And if you do this, I will also give you something quite wonderful. Because what would make your life easier than all of this stuff in a kind of a 3-page document where you could write in your own key information, like where is my bike racked? What is the milestone I look at? What are my target heart rate zones? What should I kind of aim for on the bike power wise? Where are the aid stations? You could print that off, cut it, put it on your stem of your bike. That sounds incredible. That sounds like a race day strategy document I prepare for my one-to-one guys, or I actually sell on my website. But what I'm going to do is for subscribers, and I'll do a little bit of an Irish thing here. There's one for everyone in the audience, as long as you're a subscriber, and get the race day strategy document template. And I'll explain how to fill it in that webinar, which I'm going to do. That's another thing I'm giving you. So if you want that race day strategy document, think it'll help? Yes, it will. Subscribe, drop me an email with a screenshot of you subscribed. As I said, if you just that here, send me a screenshot of this. Yes, I've got trust issues. People say they've subscribed and they haven't. It's like 80% have subscribed. I will send you this document. I'll also invite you to the webinar. There's a link to subscribe to yourself directly if you don't want the race day strategy, which is cool. The webinar I'm going to be on for a minimum of an hour, but I'm going to stay on until everyone's questions are answered. And typically when I do these webinars around an hour and a half, because what will happen is the question you're thinking of asking, someone else wants to answer it, so that there's probably around 5 or 6 big questions and then 6 or so other little minor questions, and I cover everyone. I want you guys prepared. As I said, I want you guys to have a smashing Cork experience. I want you guys coming back. I want you guys staying in triathlon, not just Ironman. So it's overall, it'd be great. So there we are. There's my details. If you want to look at the website, if you want to look at my if you want to email me the request for the race day strategy, that's the email. So that's it, guys. I hope that your last week's training goes really well. You're so close. You've put all the effort in. It's going to be hard, but then just taper time, and then you are going to be in Cork, and you're going to have an absolute smashing day. And I hope I can help in any way I can. All right, folks, have a wonderful rest of the week.